may I please invite now on stage Dr. Vivek Mittal, who is the Global General Counsel of Dr. Reddy's Lab, and Mr. Dev Bajpai, Whole-Time Director HUL and VP Legal for South Asia and Unilever. Now, before we begin, they definitely, people know them, but we still would like to share a few words about them. So, Dr. Vivek Mittal is listed under the Elite BW Legal World Top 100 General Counsel of India 2020 by BW Legal Group. He's a member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. He's a doctorate in philosophy, a law graduate, and post-graduation in commerce. And he has 21 years of working experience in-house in the legal departments of companies across sectors such as diagnostics, pharmaceuticals, retail, NBFC, manufacturing. So, we welcome you, sir, on the stage, and we thank you for being a part of this session here. Now over to Mr. Dev Bajpai. He has been a member of the management committee of HUL since May 2010 and was inducted on the board of directors of HUL as a whole-time director with effect from January 2017. And Mr. Dev has over 30 years of experience in diverse industries, including automobile, FMCG, hospitality, and private equity in the areas of legal, governance, tax and corporate affairs. And in the past, he's worked with companies like Maruti Udyog Limited, Marico, Indian Hotels Company, ICICI Venture Funds Management Company, and so on. He also is a member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India and has a law degree from the University of Delhi. He's completed an executive program for corporate counsels at Harvard, conducted by the Harvard Law School. Such eminent personalities here with us on stage. And with respect to the discussion that we have, the opening plenary session is on making GCS equal partners with the government, regulators, policymakers, and key decision makers, right from drafting legislation to consultations on decisions impacting lives and communities, the way ahead. So, sir, the stage is all yours, and we're looking forward to your nuggets of wisdom and advice and knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Would you like to come in? There's a mic also if you want. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I see very less energy again. Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Vivek Mittal. Good to be, good to be here. I think. Is this working? Thanks. I think good to be here. Good to be present with such a great accomplished people. Our next topic is that how can we make ourselves part of regulators when they legislate law, when they think about law, when they think about implementing those laws actually in this country for our companies. So slide please. So as I said, making GCs equal partners with government regulators and policymakers. Now in this regard, I want to say that, so as you can see, I've done my own branding, DRL. So we have an evolved role of in-house corporate general counsels. What do? We actually are go-to advisors for our own company, right? We all know that in our company, we support end-to-end everything from starting from launching a business to implementation to law enforcement to litigation to corporate advisory to ethics to compliance. So we are go-to advisors for our companies these days. Gone are the days when people used to think that we are only litigators in a company. And I was discussing yesterday on one of the panels where I was discussing with a gentleman who was GC about 30 years back. And he says, those days we were supposed to be only postmen, nothing else. And what we used to do, we used to take brief from the company and give it to outside counsels. However, the things have changed. We all know that's why we are sitting here today, that we are go-to advisors for our company. We are also strategists, and I can give you multiple examples for me, myself, my companies. We are strategists for our companies, and we know it very well. How do we strategize? Very recent example, Russia-Ukraine war. There were corporate sanctions. We are NYSE listed companies. People came to us. We strategized entire business strategy for them. We have a large presence in Russia and CS region, including Russia and Ukraine both. So what we did was we strategized entire business that from where you should move goods to which country and how do you move payment back I'm not saying we avoided trade sanctions, but we complied with them, actually. It was other way around. People used to think that if you're structuring any transaction, you're avoiding. You're not avoiding, you're actually complying. That's the perspective I want to give. We are guardian, of course, we are guardian of everything under the law, regulations. What we do is we protect government agencies so that they don't take enforcement actions, and we also protect our companies. We all know this, that we are guardians. We are also negotiators. We negotiate for companies, right? And these are only few things which we do for our company. So what we do, we help companies in complying with laws. We help companies to take better decisions, and we help them to take decisions. In this entire process, what do? It's everything related to law and business, right? These are two things which are interlinked. That's what we do. Next slide, please. So we are now a value-added partners for our company in policy and legislation formation. I can tell you how. So over the period of last 10 years, the expectation from corporate counsels like us has changed. The discussion which I have with my management nowadays is that for everything from execution to implementation within the company your team is doing, you should be a thought leader. You should be a flag bearer for company's business. And what you should do, you should collaborate with authorities more to represent the kind of business you do, what are the challenges in the business, and how law affects, aids, or law acts as impediment for the business. So we collaborate with FICCI, we collaborate with CCI, we collaborate with any other bodies who would go to regulatory authorities or legislatures, and we would also do some kind of lobbying, as we say. While lobbying is not still legal in India, but I would still advocate that lobbying should be illegal in India. So what do? We collaborate with them, and we place our point of view of our business, and we tell them that this is the impediment in relation to law currently. What we also do, whenever discussions paper come out, we actually read through them, we interpret them. There are many examples, like data privacy. Very recently, there was an example of legal methodology, right? There was a change in legal methodology very recently. Now, those are our pain points. Our pain points are in relation to, specifically, if we talk about as pharmaceutical pricing. Government every now and then come out with pricing. We need to go back to them. We go back to them and we tell them that this pricing doesn't work. Why it doesn't work? Because the data which you have taken is only from 1 or 2 players, while there are 1,000 players in the market. So what I want to say is this fast changing regulatory landscape. We all know when we started in our parliament, there were many lawyers. Now I was reading very recently, lawyers in the parliament have reduced, right? And there was a very newspaper article recently. What does that do? That brings down the quality of law. What we need to do as a corporate counsel is we need to represent our company so that the legislators sitting in the parliament understand that what are our needs. They aid the business rather than they act as impediment. We all know very well that we want to be 5 trillion organization by 2025 and 10 trillion by 2030. For doing that, there has to be change in law across so that it aid business. Take example of China. When China wanted to become a manufacturing hub, they gave lot of incentives to manufacturing companies, including electricity, including tax benefit. Now, is our government doing that? Yes, but state governments are doing it. There is no unified policy for an entire country. I think we need to work on that. So what we need to do, a policy shift is required, a policy objective is required globally, where what we should tell government is that there should be a global policy, global in the sense national policy, for which we should be part of it. We should be part of making that policy. We also can help government in certainly good legal research and framing of legislations, as I have talked about. Next slide, please. We are also conscious keeper of the company, right? We all know it very well. When I say conscious keeper, that means we help company not to breach any laws. We help companies to comply with laws. We help companies to interpret laws. We all know it very well, right? In my view, we play a quasi-legislative role in the organization. We are extended arm of legislatures and the implementers, which the way we work in company. We need that recognition as in-house general community. So the way I'll define it, there are legislatures. We call them lawmakers. Then there are law enforcement agencies. We all know them. Let's say EDs, etc. Then there are law interpreters who are in court. They interpret law. Why we can't be law implementers? Why we can't be recognized as law implementers in the country, especially in relation to corporate community? And there should be a recognition that we are that bridge between making of legislation and proper implementation. We act as a bridge, because nowadays we tell our company to have compliance softwares, ethics, right? Trade compliance, anti-bribery, anti-corruption policies, antitrust. We create that awareness in the company so that people can comply with it. Next slide, please. So here is my pitch. My pitch is that VGC should be part of drafting committee by design, clearly by design. Whenever any charter of drafting committee is made, there should be a GC from that particular industry, or there should be accomplished GCs in India whom they should pick up. And they should say that we are part of the drafting committee, giving our legal business perspective in relation to our legislation which is affecting the industry. If that can't be done, that will be my first pitch. If that can be done, then we should be called as expert. It is completely established that we could be called as expert, right? So we could be called as expert in relation to lawmaking. Third thing is, whenever rules in relation to any law is made, then we should be called for implementation guideline. Rules are basically implementation of the legislation, right? So we should be called. What we do with all that, we bring in international perspective. So just to give you an example, in India, trade compliance is a very unheard of kind of legislation, right? However, what I bring to the organization is, we understand that what is trade compliance, what are sanctions by US, what are sanctions by Europe, what are sanctions by UK, and we bring that practice in India. Similarly, why can't we bring in that global perspective in Indian legislations? We should. And last thing is that we support in highlighting and rationalizing conflicting laws. What we do is, we actually read every law so that it can be implemented, so we very well know what are the pain points. So, as I didn't know Akriti was going to say it, but I say that we are a bridge. We are a bridge between government and the corporates. We want to expand that bridge, width of that bridge, by becoming their advisors, their consultants in relation to drafting and implementation. We should certainly start advocacy. Government should recognize us as a body. And I don't know how that body will recognize, I think, but that's the idea. That this community has to be recognized by government now. It's high time in all of this, so that we can create value for ourselves, our company, and for this nation. Thank you.